The scale of the revelations we've seen over the last 24 hours or so, do you think they've crossed a line sufficiently that your former bosses, I understand you're specifically a butler for the then Prince of Wales and Duchess of Cornwall, the now King and Queen Consort, will they be forced to comment and respond to some of these claims?
Whispers from behind palace doors. A father torn between duty and escape. A mother desperate to shield her kids, and two innocent children at the heart of a brewing royal storm. Prince Harry's secret plan for Archie and Lilibet has finally come to light, and Meghan is not happy. What is Harry really plotting? And could this fracture the Sussexes forever?
Complain, and I think the reality is these allegations are so serious. I can't see how the palace won't want to say something. Obviously, it's difficult because I imagine they will want to have their own investigation again to look into these allegations. And
for years, we bought the fairy tale. Harry and Meghan, the royal rebels who fled the UK for freedom and sunshine. The couple that broke all the rules to raise their kids, Archie and Lilibet, away from the relentless cameras and cold corridors of Buckingham Palace.
But then as far as what they can do, this is something people have been asking me, what can they actually do to them? And the reality is there's very little, because we don't know. I mean, the reality is we don't know what is truth or what isn't. But the whole thing's really sad, and it's not the family.
But behind the smiles and staged podcasts, the cracks were already forming. Insiders close to the family say Harry has been quietly planning something that Meghan sees as nothing short of betrayal. A move that would drag their children right back into the world they fought so hard to escape. And now, a former royal staffer has blown the whole thing wide open.
And we shouldn't forget that is possible. The king has got the power to remove that HRH from them.
It came out of nowhere. Grant Harold, former butler to King Charles himself, stunned royal watchers with one very loaded revelation. In an interview with Hello magazine, Harold, who spent years observing the family from up close, claimed that Harry wants his kids to get a British education.
Relationship then between Charles and his son.
Between 2004 and 2011, and I'm like,
not maybe, not someday. According to Harold, it's very likely and completely possible. Even more telling, Harold added that Harry is quite keen for his children to get a bit of a British education after their early years in California. It's a bombshell. The man who once declared he'd never let his kids suffer under the UK's brutal press apparently wants them immersed in the very system he fled. And that's just the beginning.
Very well, best friends, practical jokers. There was always humor, there was always fun. Even with the father as well. You know, they were a very close family. And when this all began...
If this is truly Harry's plan, it flies directly in the face of Meghan's most deeply held beliefs. In 2022, during her tell-all with The Cut, Meghan didn't mince words. She described Britain as a place where even the simple act of walking her son to school would trigger a frenzied media circus, where normal family life was impossible.
24 hours was when Harry was informed that his mother had passed away. His father, now the king, didn't hug him. Is that...
She's been clear. Her kids would not grow up in that world, not ever. So how does she feel now, with her husband reportedly plotting their children's return? Sources close to the couple say Meghan is adamant about keeping Archie and Lilibet in the US, away from the press and royal expectations. But if Harry is serious, this could turn into a full-blown marital standoff.
The king showed love to both his boys, which I very much witnessed.
To understand this, you have to understand Harry himself.
He may have rejected the crown, he may have walked away, but Britain is in his blood. He was shaped by Eton, by Sandhurst, by his years in uniform.
No amount of Malibu sunshine can erase the ties he still feels to his homeland, or the pride he still carries for the family he left behind.
Within the royal family, in fact, I think you could even go back centuries where you have these kind of allegations about...
Some say this isn't about academics at all. It's about giving Archie and Lilibet a link to the traditions and heritage he secretly cherishes. A way to make sure they don't grow up as complete strangers to the world they technically still belong to. It's not just nostalgia. It might even be strategy.
Do you think it's possible that the king, as an heir himself, showed favoritism to William?
Because here's the thing. Harry knows how fractured his relationship with his father and brother has become. But what if his children, raised partly in the UK, became the bridge? What if sending Archie and Lilibet to British schools was his way of keeping them connected and subtly repairing his own broken ties to the Windsors? Some royal commentators are already speculating that this could be Harry's quiet olive branch.
The relationship and the love was always absolutely equal, and as we all know, Harry...
A way to keep his children in the royal narrative without moving back himself. But would Meghan ever agree to that? According to friends, Meghan still carries the scars of her time in the UK. The tabloids, the smear campaigns, the constant intrusion into her private life. To her, Britain isn't just another place to live. It's a place of pain. And while Harry might romanticize his old schools, Meghan reportedly sees British education as just another path back into a system she's sworn to keep her kids out of. It's not just about education. It's about control, about whose vision of their family wins out. And as one insider bluntly put it, Meghan won't budge easily. There's also a much bigger divide at play here. The British education system is steeped in tradition and prestige, but it's also rigid and elitist. Long hours, uniforms, discipline. The American system, by contrast, is more flexible, more nurturing, a better fit, in Meghan's eyes, for young kids who need to be shielded from the world's expectations. To Harry, those British traditions are part of his identity. To Meghan, they're part of what broke him. So whose vision wins, and at what cost? One name keeps coming up in this debate: Diana. Harry's mother famously fought to give her boys as much of a normal childhood as possible, taking them to McDonald's, amusement parks, even letting them meet homeless people on the streets. Some royal experts believe Harry sees sending his kids to British schools as honoring her memory, a way to give them a connection to the country she loved, but also to remind them of her sacrifices. But others argue that Diana would never have wanted her grandchildren exposed to the toxic media circus she endured. Once again, even in death, Diana's shadow looms over every choice Harry and Meghan make. So where does this leave them? For now, the Sussexes are staying silent. No official statement, no confirmation. But the longer they stay quiet, the louder the speculation grows. Is Harry willing to go behind Meghan's back to make this happen? Or will Meghan dig in and force him to abandon the idea? Some insiders say private peace talks between Harry and King Charles could hinge on this very issue, whether Harry is prepared to bring his children back into the fold. One thing's for sure, the longer they delay a decision, the more they risk. For their marriage, for their children, and for what little remains of their ties to the crown. Two parents, two countries, two very different dreams for their kids. Will Archie and Lilibet grow up as free Californians or as royals in training in the UK? Or will the fight over their future finally push Harry and Meghan past the point of no return? What do you think? Should Harry honor his heritage? Or should Meghan stand her ground and protect her kids from the royal machine? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this royal deep dive gripping, hit that like button. Subscribe for more shocking revelations from behind palace walls, and don't forget to ring that notification bell, because in the world of royalty, the next twist is never far away. Stay tuned.